Chet Reader. This is my 15th year of teaching and coaching. I started in down in Jerseyville for a year. I was a full-time sub, freshman baseball, and just volunteer assistant basketball. Then I went to Chrisman High School. I was driver's ed PE for the junior high and high school there. I was assistant basketball, JV basketball, and head golf coach. And then went to Sullivan, was at Sullivan for 10 years. I was middle school PE for 5, and then high school athletic PE and driver's ed for 5 years. Assistant football coach, assistant basketball coach, head basketball coach for 5 years over there at Sullivan, and got the job here at T-Town.
So how long have you been here at Teutopolis?
This is starting I guess halfway through my 3rd year here at T-Town.
Back in 2019, you had the privilege of coaching against your brother who coaches at Jerseyville, Stote Reader.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you, not only as a coach, but as a family member and all the family coming here?
And it was a neat experience. It's something we started when I was at Sullivan. We did it for 4 years. The only bad part about it is he beat me 4 times there at Sullivan. But there's good and bad with it. It's fun competing against him. A lot of my coaching stuff it comes from him. I mean, I owe a lot of my success to him. He's helped me out a lot along the way growing up, and when I started out in the coaching business. The bad part about it is one of us has to lose, and we're each other's biggest fan. So that's, at the end of the game, it's tough because one of us lost. But I hope it never happens again unless we're meeting in the state championship game or something like that.
How do you handle teaching, spending time with family, and coaching all at once?
Well, there's a simple answer to that, and that's have a tremendous teammate with you at home. And Jess is the reason why I'm able to do and commit so much time to what I love, and she's the reason why it works, the reason why she keeps everything in order. She's a huge support system, so that's how it's able to happen. If you don't have a good teammate at home, it's not possible.
Who would be your biggest role model and why?
Well, I don't have just one. Different aspects of my life I have different role models for, but my brother's a big one. My brother Stote is a big role model of mine. Being 7 years younger than him, that distance kind of helped us not be enemies, because we're very similar. We're very competitive, but since we were 7 years apart, I was able to look up to him, and he was gracious enough to let me ride along with him sometimes and do things with him. But he's a role model. My father is a huge role model, teaching us the value of hard work, and being a good Christian and things like that. And then my wife Jess is a big role model for me as well. Keeps me on my toes, pushes me to be better. I want to be better because of her and our 2 girls at home. So she's a big role model too.
What is your favorite part to being involved in this community?
Oh, just the overwhelming support this community has for everything, really. But from a basketball coaching standpoint, the overwhelming support they have for their kids, and just wanting their kids to be successful. That's been incredible. They've welcomed us with open arms. Outsiders coming in. That's been my favorite part. Their overwhelming support.
Talk about the Fairfield T-Town basketball game for the sectional championship at Vandalia in 2019, and what that meant to you for the environment as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hands down best environment I've ever been to. As a fan, a player, a coach. When we walked in and it was crowded already, it was packed already because the 3-point shootout was going on. We walked in, our kids got a standing ovation from our fans before the game. So I mean, it's hard to explain how loud it was. Just for both communities. Fairfield turned out really well too, but it was hands down the best environment I've ever been to for a basketball game.
Mind when Dawson threw that dunk down, and that crowd was probably as loud as it's ever been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big moment in the game. It didn't end the game, but it was a big moment for us. It gave us that last little separation that we kind of needed from Fairfield. They were starting to make another little comeback, and Dawson read an inbound bounce pass the right way, and just came up with the steal, and he finished it off, and it was a huge moment, and it was hard. They called timeout, and it was hard for our guys to even hear me in that timeout. So it was a pretty cool moment.
Number 7, Teutopolis. Number 8, Fairfield. The Rep King Media Game of the Night. There's the mayor of Teutopolis. Shoes, Dawson Smith. Wham with 2 hands. Can we see it again? Who said Class 2A kids
Look at that crowd.
can't fly? Crowd just going nuts.
Is it illegal to not be at the game if you live in Teutopolis city limits?
I'm telling you.
Do they write you a ticket?
They might. Beakers, Wormerts, Myers, and Harkey just flinging their popcorn everywhere. Mitch Hardican won. Shoes taked out a Fairfield team that came in red hot. And the Shoes are sectional champs, 55-47 final score. Bavarian Pretzels?
All around at Gophers Grill. They're going nuts.
So far in your time here at T-Town for coaching, which is your favorite game to be a part of?
Well, to be honest with you, one of my favorite games was my very first one. Just over at Lawrenceville, and I love that tournament and being in that atmosphere. And actually, we were at Red Hill, but just kind of that introduction to our first our first environment of T-Town basketball, and letting that group, because we knew as coaches, we knew we had a special group, and letting that group be known to the world was pretty cool. The championship game at the Christmas tournament was pretty incredible. I think the whole town showed up for that game. There's been a lot of them. Homecoming games here both years have been great. That any home game really has been my favorite here, because I tell our kids before they take the floor, don't take this for granted. This isn't normal. What they get to play in front of every home game isn't normal. So really, any home game is a favorite as well.
Besides T-Town here in J.H. Griffin Gymnasium, what is your favorite gym to coach?
I don't really know what my favorite one. There's a lot of cool ones I've coached in. The old Paris one was awesome. Pinckneyville with their bowl is really cool. I've never coached in that one, but I've played in that one. I love going over to St. Anthony and hearing their student section and all that stuff. And I always, I'm always going to love the place that I played in, and that's our gym at Sullivan. But there's, we have so many cool gyms down here in Southern Illinois. Salem comes to mind as well. Benton, those are all, we've got some really neat atmospheres down here, down south in Illinois, and they're fun to coach at. Jess is my best friend. That's why we work, because we're not just husband and wife. We're best friends with each other. I've got high school best friends. I've got college best friends. I've got a couple different text chains that I always keep in touch with. Like Dylan Dudley from high school, my brother, his college roommate Aaron, the current JV coach now, Craig Toller, my college roommate Neil Ropp, he was from Fieldcrest High School. So I've got a lot of really, really great friends that I've been fortunate to surround myself with and still keep in touch with.
How have you been able to cope with no basketball during COVID?
Well, probably not very well. I think that's probably a better question for my wife. It's been really hard. It's, I love coaching and I love practice. And it's been really hard to not be in the gym with our guys every day. That's been the hardest part. I love games, I really do. But I always tell guys getting into this business, if you don't love practice, then you shouldn't coach. And that's what I miss the most, the day-to-day, teaching guys new things, correcting things. I miss that so much. And, above anything else, I would settle for just a week of practice above anything. If, we'll take whatever they give us, but if we could just have a week of practice, I think that'd put my mind at ease a little bit more. But it's been really hard. The good thing about it is I have got to spend a lot more time at home, a lot more time with our girls, a lot more time with Jess. So that's been a huge positive. So it hasn't been all bad, but it's been tough.
What has coaching done to change your life?
Oh, I think it's made me a better person for sure. You preach to these kids to make good choices and think about what you do, and that it makes you think about the decisions that you're making and what kind of leadership are you showing to your kids. So it's made me a better person. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't coaching. It makes me feel almost complete, every time I have a new season. It's opened so many doors for me too. It's allowed me to meet so many cool people and get experiences that I don't think I'd ever get if I wasn't coaching. So it's opened a lot of doors and made my life, a lot better. On a typical year, you have 50 to 60 practices and you only have 25 to 30 games. So the majority of your time is done in the gym with no crowd. So you've got to love practice. And be honest with your kids. Tell them the truth. Don't be sarcastic. Don't sugarcoat anything. Be honest with your players. Don't lie to them. If you're honest to them, they might be upset with you for a little bit, but I think if you lie to them, they're never going to trust you. And you won't have that relationship with them after they graduate. So love practice and be honest with your players. Just thank you to this community, to the administration that gave me this opportunity. I know I probably wasn't the glamorous pick, but God put me here for a reason, I think. God opened this door for me for a reason. And I can't express enough our gratitude, Jess and Kristen and Kate and I's gratitude for welcoming us, for allowing us to be part of this community and part of your families. So that's meant the world to us. You know, we were kind of lost coming down here. We really didn't know a whole lot of people, but we're more and more we're starting to feel like, you know, we're part of this community. So I mean, and that's everybody. That's parents. That's, you know, grandparents, media. You know, everybody. They've been so great to us. So we do thank you for that.
Chester Reeder, Teutopolis head basketball coach. Chester, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Todd.